Hey, here's to 1,000 subscribers. Thanks a lot for that, guys. Now, I'm gonna do a Q&A video today. I made a community post about that, so I'm going to deliver on my promise. So, let's get into it. Now, I'm going to be reading these from my phone, but just letting you know that I did jot down some notes on my computer because you guys asked some really good questions, and I want to make sure that I answer them as accurately and equally interesting as possible. So I don't want to really mess up a question with a poorly thought out answer. So yeah, let's start with, what do you think makes a good Fire Emblem character? See, that's a good one. I'd say generally, just to keep it simple for now, I need them to hit about 4 notes. For one, I would really like for them to have layers to their character. I mean, that's the easiest way for me to consider them good. I mean, if they have certain behaviors and traits that are on display for the surface level, but they actually have other things like backstory and other factors that contribute to the way how their character works on a basic level, that's good to me, because that just goes to show that there's more depth to the character than what's shown to us on screen in like their early beginnings when they're introduced and stuff like that. My second point would be that they just don't heavily rely on gimmicks and stuff like that, or their one-note traits that are like played off as gags, and then for some reason that's just all their character. That's probably why I didn't really resonate with most of the engaged cast, because that's what they felt like to me. And another third point would be that they actually have a good backstory that complements their character and shows why they behave the way that they do in the story, or what type of personality that they have, and the backstory backs that up. And if they have a compelling character arc that either has a message to tell or simply is powerful enough to move me to make them feel like they're real and help me care about the character. Because I love me some stories or character arcs that help me connect to the character in ways where they could relate to real life situations. That's why I made that video about relatability like a few weeks ago. If a character can just make me either feel really bad for them or make me feel good for them when they finally triumph, man, that's a good character to me. Do I have plans to cover Andaron Saga? I'm gonna be honest, no. Because based on what I've seen from it so far, to be completely transparent, I've only seen about 6 or 7 chapters worth of it. So far I'm not really hooked, but I did hear that Magnus did take inspiration from several Fire Emblem games that are actually some of my favorites in the series. But yeah, just that alone, that intrigues me. So maybe whenever I have some spare time, I will get around to finally trying it out just to see what the hype's all about. And yeah, I'll go from there. But I could tell that a lot of passion went into that game. And as far as my content is concerned, I'm more so like character analysis, story analysis focused, even though I still would like to do gameplay videos here and there. So anything that I can think of that would relate to Andaron Saga would be mainly about its story. And so far from what I've seen from the story, it's hard to take it seriously, but I heard that it gets pretty deep later on, so whenever I play it, I'll see it for myself. Ooh, got a negative one here. What's your least favorite Fire Emblem game you played? And the Fire Emblem character that I hate the most? Fuck Hilda. Not that Hilda. This Hilda. Oh my god. I feel like I shouldn't even have to give my reasons on why I hate that old hag. I mean, thankfully, whenever I did my FE4 run, I made double sure that I murdered that old bitch with Tinny. Super cathartic. But as far as least favorite Fire Emblem game, part of me wants to be a little bit mean and say Fates, but I can't really fairly say that because, for one, I just never finished Fates. I've only played Conquest, and I didn't even finish that because I just wasn't really having a good time, to be honest. But I want to give it a fair shot, just like I did for FE4, because that ended up being much better than I thought it would be whenever I finally sat down and got off my ass to finish it. But yeah, I want to give Fates a fair shot. I need to stop dragging my feet with it, finally finish it in all of its roots, and then I can have my final verdict at the end of the day, which will probably be months from now. But to answer the question, I would just have to say Shadow Dragon for now. I don't think that's a very surprising answer. That game is just boring as fuck. Jeez. Now these two questions kind of complement each other, so I'm going to answer them both at the same time. Favorite FE character all around and favorite Three Houses character, and what's my favorite Fire Emblem game, what's my favorite Three Houses route, and if I had to remove a character from Engage, who would it be? Alright, favorite character all around first. All around favorite Fire Emblem character, that would have to be Ike. Dude's a straight up Giga Chad, and I just feel like I need to save all of my personal reasons for that for its dedicated video, because yes, I will make an Ike video. It's just a given my love for Tellius. And favorite Three Houses character, my profile picture speaks for itself. But if somebody's watching this video years down the line and I change my profile picture, Mercedes. And like my favorite Three Houses route, that would have to be Blue Lions. I love Claude, and I've learned to appreciate Edelgard as well over time, but it's always going to be Dimitri's story. Now my favorite Fire Emblem game, that's when it gets real complicated. Now I'm probably going to switch over to like some kind of tier list on the screen or something, because from there I'll be able to better articulate how I feel. Really hard to pick a number one, mainly because of Tellius, because obviously either of those two games will be in the number one spot. But it's hard to put one over the other, because while Radiant Dawn is a lot more fun as a game, just based on how ambitious as hell it was, but I really love Ike's story, his coming of age story in Path of Radiance, and the storytelling throughout Path of Radiance was just magnificent. So that's why I just like to put them both as like the same game, even though that's not fair, because both games have their huge stark differences. But for now, I'll just say Radiant Dawn is my favorite game, and then Genealogy of the Holy War just worked its way up to like number 2/3 if I don't want to include both Tellius games as one, because man, that used to be Three Houses, but I'm so glad I played through FE4. And if I had to remove a character from Engage, no, I can't really think of anybody at the moment. Okay, so what do you think makes a good Fire Emblem? I literally just read that. What the fuck is wrong with me? What do you want to see in the next FE game? So basically what I want to see in the next FE game, I might get some hate for saying this, but no avatars. I'm sorry, Robin, Corrin, Byleth, Alear fans, but they just take me out of the story most of the time. I won't elaborate too much on that, because yeah, I don't feel like ruffling any feathers today. Next, I want to see perspectives from like commoners, like Ike again, or people who has humble upbringings, because I'm just tired of following lords all of the time. I mean, I know that was like the bread and butter of Fire Emblem story and its settings, but when Ike came around, it really just opened up the floodgates of all the potential that they could do when exploring a character from a humble background, because it makes their tale more compelling and closer to home and realistic, because the player could relate to that a lot more than following some noble who the only person in real life who could relate to a noble would be people of upper class citizens and stuff like that, rich people, you know, that rich kids. I would like to see more commoners, like say like a soldier, like a normal soldier in an army who had to work their way up in the ranks to like a general. I actually made like a community post on that, and I did enjoy that poll because I liked the answers that I got. But anyway, as far as like gameplay goes, I would really prefer if they just tone it down with the My Castle stuff. You know, like the Monastery and the Somnial. I love them, but on repeat playthroughs, they just slow down the process for me. And I would love base camps from Tellius to come back. And if they really just want to do the exploration thing, just make the base camp its own little map like the Somnial, except just don't overwhelm us with all of these extra activities that can spend up all of your time, and it can just make you feel like you're missing out or not playing an optimized run when you're ignoring things, because that was the problem with especially Three Houses. Something like making the exploration optional, I just feel like that would be the best of both worlds. If someone wants to explore, then let them explore. But if someone just want to keep the pace going and utilize a base screen, and then once they're done to get back into the game, that just pleases both crowds in my opinion. And on the subject of Engage, I do feel like the gameplay was a step in the right direction. While I wouldn't want to see emblems come back, because I feel like that's just an Engage exclusive thing and it just wear off the novelty of another game, just jacked it. But just utilizing the core mechanics and refining them further, like for an example, make skills less expensive and providing more skill slots, because man, I did think that Engage really slacked on giving us more slots for skills. And like have stuff like shoving and rescue mechanics being integrated into the base mechanics again, because I just hated how modern Fire Emblem just connects that to skills and classes, and it just annoys me. Have I ever had a moment where I was thinking I landed the big one and then I reel it in and it was Seteth? Well, Linhart, first, I didn't know that you were a subscriber of mine. It's an honor, thank you. But, two, No, I can't say I relate to that. Why is Mercedes my favorite? Well, to be honest, I actually did have an idea to make a video about that, but I just feel like that I'm not too confident in being able to do that type of video justice, because I think my bias would get in the way and I wouldn't be able to fairly judge and critique her character, because she's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I just kind of want to give something like that a bit of time, and it's kind of like the Rhea video I want to make, because that one's going to be a lot more complicated considering how controversial she is. But this isn't about Rhea. Some other time I'll talk about that. But yeah, just a short version, since that Mercedes video is probably not going to see the light of day anytime soon. But yeah, I find her kind, calm, and collected demeanor to be really endearing, especially when you find out, when you go deep into her backstory, that behind that smile just lies a really fucked up background. And the fact that she can smile through all of that despite what she went through in her past, man, that's just really moving, and it's inspiring as hell to me. So that's why she's like my favorite character in Three Houses. So that's kind of like just the abridged version of it, because the eventual video that I make will expound upon that much further whenever I build up the nerve to make it. But other than that, yeah, I just genuinely enjoy her personality. I love patient and generous people. They're like the type of people I feel the most comfortable and safe around. And considering that I'm suspected, because I haven't gotten an official diagnosis ever, to be on the autism spectrum, I definitely need a lot more patient people in my life. Oh lord, I don't even want to get into that. And on the topic of more Three Houses stuff, do I have any plans on making a Claude video? Yeah, I do. I eventually want to cover all three lords. I just need to give Three Houses a break, because I've definitely been making too many videos on it lately. So once I kind of get FE4 out of the way, and I also get some videos with Tellius out of the way, I'll come back to Three Houses. And Claude will definitely be one of the characters that I'll cover first whenever I get back to it. Big fan of CL's voice from your Mega Man channel. What was it like working with the VAs of CL and X? What good things can you say about them? Will we get to hear from them again in the future videos? Well, to be honest with you, this isn't the best place to ask that question, because I'm pretty sure 99% of the people watching this video right now don't even know that my Magnus Zero channel exists. And I purposely kept it that way because I didn't really want the Zero viewers to migrate over here and just kind of give me dead subscribers, because I know like almost all of my audience just doesn't give a shit about Fire Emblem. But to answer the question simply, just to not dwell on it for too long, yeah, I like both of them. The voice actors for CL and X. Power Guy, who is a really great YouTuber, by the way, who covers more than just Mega Man stuff, but he's a swell guy. I loved working with him. Same for CL's voice actor, Luna Love. Really passionate woman about acting in general, and it was an honor to work with them both. And yeah, I will work with them again, because Ultimate Disrespect, that's like a series of Mega Man Zero stuff for people who are just not in the know. Like, that will get a part 4. It's just that I've been more focused on this channel just to rise it up. And I also feel more passionate about this channel compared to Magnus Zero these days. So production on that channel is like really slow right now. Now that's probably a good time for me to finally get into my goals, my aim, like what even is the point of Cain Magnus in the first place. To make a long story short, I'm just really passionate about storytelling, characters, all of that stuff, because I can be a big nerd about that type of thing. I grew up playing RPGs, reading some good books. I wasn't like too big into reading until I got into my 20s, and that's when I finally started to pick up on books that I really enjoy reading on my downtime. But in general, I just always loved a great story and great characters, and considering that Fire Emblem is one of my favorite franchises, because it and Mega Man kind of goes what and what, along with other RPGs like Shining Force. I mean, I've got Shining Force games over there in the corner with my Genesis collection and all of that, and I also have my Fire Emblem games over there too, and that beautiful Ike figure that my friend Jakun gave me. Still big thanks to that, bro. But yeah, long story short, I'm real passionate about storytelling, and I really want to convey that on this channel. And I also consider myself a writer, because I love to be a published author someday, because I am currently writing a two-perspective, I don't know if I would call it an epic fantasy or anything like that, because it's not that grand. But yeah, I am writing a book, and admittedly, I don't really allocate my time as accurately, because I got the book, my 2 channels, my full-time job that I work in the evenings, 8-hour shifts. So it's really difficult to juggle them sometimes, and I really do need to do proper time management. But regardless, Cain Magnus, I can see a future for it compared to Magnus Zero, because eventually I want to spread beyond the scope of Fire Emblem. I want to cover games like the Tales series. Tales of the Abyss is like one of my favorite RPGs ever. It has like some of the greatest storytelling I've ever seen in a game, and I would love to cover character analysis on people like Luke von Fabre, but only time will tell with that. I just want this channel to be an outlet for my love with storytelling, and I feel like Fire Emblem is the best first step for that. And again, I also still want to dabble into gameplay stuff. I would definitely love to do like a Fire Emblem 4 LTC. I normally am not that big on Fire Emblem speed runs and stuff, but man, FE4 is making me a believer of LTCs now, man. I'm playing through my second playthrough ranked run. I'm trying to get an A rank, mainly so I can see that extra scene and record it for my FE4 video, but regardless, I'm just doing this for fun, and hopefully I can share my passion for storytelling in Fire Emblem and any other game that I eventually cover on this channel with you, and hopefully that resonates with you, because I'm really big on relating to other people. If all of my babbling about relatability hasn't let that sink in already, but I would rather show you what my channel is more about instead of just blabbing on about it here. So hopefully the videos I make going forward will continue to entertain and move you, hopefully, because that's probably why I'm taking so long to make this FE4 video. I just want to make sure that script is just perfect, even if nobody even watches the damn thing. I just want something that I put all my effort into and be proud of it when I finally push the publish button when it's completed. That's all I care about at the end of the day. Whether that video gets thousands of views or only like hundreds of views or only like 2 views, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But yeah, that's it for me. Thanks for submitting your questions, and once again, thank you so much for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. It's my first major milestone on this channel, and I hope that I can achieve much more going forward. Here's to 10,000 subscribers. Stay chill, y'all.